What's going on, everyone? Today we are doing a bit of a VOD review on myself, right? We took these clips. I think we were trying to push only 20 rating. That's what we're trying to push in this session. Trying to push from 2880 to 2900. So we I think got to 2897. So there's still a little bit to go, but for all intents and purposes, we're there. We have some games that are flat out, we just kind of, I guess, get pretty lucky. I think this one I'm going to show, I feel like we got pretty lucky. We have a game against an RM pal who played really, really well, and I made a whole bunch of mistakes. So I want to point those out to you. And we lost to them, and then we beat them once. So I'll show you that one, and then I will look at another loss. We beat this team the second game, but like barely, and they were playing Kitty Cleave. So I kind of want to feature that one because they played really, really well, and I feel like it's always good to play and show you guys games that I lose against really good people, right? Um, Pretty much everyone at this rating is really good. I feel like you don't tend to find like free games here. When you're at like 2K, 2.1K, sometimes you'll literally verse games that are free. Somebody who, maybe they're a team at 1.8, 1.9 who just got really, really lucky, had a little bit of a spree, 10 wins, and they're not really quite there yet in terms of developing their game plan and game awareness and synergy. But at this stage, a lot of these guys have been playing with each other a fair bit. I'm not sure how much. Obviously, there's still like, you know, one person might be not really playing that comp, but the other two might, and so on and so forth. But I do think the level of coordination here is pretty insane. So I thought I wanted to go through these. So the first one is against Fire Mage, Windwalker, Holy Paladin. Um, and why am I Tauren? I'm just using J-Morph. So we're playing WMP, obviously, right? Um, and mainly the plan here is just to go after Windwalker, right? I run straight out of the gates. I don't really want to wait and let the mage get a setup because I feel like we do better straight away. So what I do here is I'm kind of swapping and then I go B stance, I drop the Stormbolt, and my healer runs to get the Stormbolt. Sorry, the Hodge. Um, the Mage locks our Mage, and our Mage goes for the ring. The awkward thing here is I can't really connect, right? I finally connect, and I get some dam out. We get double swept, and this is an important section here, right? So my Mage is about to take a whole bunch of damage. My Holy Paladin got DR polyed, right? And my Mage just got kicked. I think the kick's ending now. So I send the intervene here because look at what's happening. You see the radiant spark. Whenever you see this radiant spark, you know it's going to be an insanely big go. Radiant spark makes combust do a f ton of damage, right? Like it does crazy damn. The Windwalker is probably about to pop clones as well. There they are, and he might follow this up with a Tiger too. There's Combustion, there's Tiger, there's a lot of damage coming out. I intervene, right, and I rally. So when I rally, I lose. I think I put everyone at 54k HP. Um, so if you think about what's happening, my mage is on 31% HP. He has kind of similar HP to me. So with that rally, he'd be on 54k. So they've done about 40k worth of damage to him for an intervene, right? Intervene rally, and they're still doing that much damage. So what I do here is, we get a poly onto the mage, which gets dispelled, and I throw the blade storm. The Blaze Storm started chunking away, and my healer gets to top the mage before the rally drops, which is really, really important. Now, what happens is our mage gets a poly. The Windwalker is kind of primed for a bit of a go. He doesn't have sweep, he doesn't have disarm, but he does have ROP. He uses clones again, right? And we break through this and we chunk a whole bunch of damage really, really quickly at the last second of this poly, right? So obviously, from the Holy Paladin's perspective, he probably doesn't want to burn sack into this, but there wasn't. In my opinion, I think I don't play Windwalker, so obviously this guy knows way more about Windwalker than me. I think it's just unfortunate because we kind of chunked him really, really quickly. Maybe his BM fell off. Is that what happened there? Because let me go back for 10 seconds. So we Blade Storm here. He's at 38.2k. We get onto him. We start chunking him down pretty fast here in this poly. Um, I swing a sharpen before, but the sharpen ends, and then he gets, I think, just fire blast pyro, like the instant pyro. Oh, and my mage combust at the same time. Okay, my mage combusted on that one. So the meteor comes down, drops him to 1k HP. This is 1k HP, and he just used BM diffuse. I don't know if he has uh, fortifying brew, and he gets finished off there before the paladin can react. It was a very very fast go. It kind of happened all at once, so it stacked out. So yeah, it's always interesting to see games like this, and you know that was quite a good game for us. I think these guys played pretty well too. I think our comp is generally stronger into the Windwalker variant. So let's go and find the next game. We won't cover this one. Okay, I'm going to show you the kitty cleave. This is quite a long game, so what I might do is I might start a little bit inside the game. So to give you context, our go here, our initial thinking is to go onto the Feral Druid, right? And you can see the mistake I made here. It's the same mistake I've made in 2 games in a row now. So, point this out. If you can pick it up in this game, well, you'll know by the end of this game because I'm going to tell you what it is, right? Now, this is quite a long game. Might just go to 15 minutes then. So essentially, we start our go here. It's Kitty Cleave. It does pretty big damage onto my mage, but I'm also a potential swap target, right? Because I'm intervening a lot. I'm eating a lot of bleeds, and it's Condemn Warrior, so Condemn is very good into the plate, into the warrior plate, right? We don't really have too much protections. The bops don't do that much. It will clear the bleeds. So we get pretty decent pressure to start off with. I trinket the stun. I think that's fine. Um, doesn't really make a huge difference here. I throw the spear out. We get the spear, and we disarmed on it, right? So it's a little bit awkward. We're still getting good pressure out there, and I get the stun off. I get the sharpen on him. He's at 50%. He's not super healthy right now, so maybe like this is when we're thinking, okay, this guy might die. My H-Power just got blinded, which is a bit unfortunate. We tried to banner that, but they waited and killed it. They're good players, for sure. The Hodge comes out, and he trinkets a Hodge, so we do get the trinket there. So the Hodge wasn't too bad, even though it was DR'd, it was still good to lock him down. We do the Blaze Storm on both here, but we don't sweepings before it. And here is we DR a really, really short Stormbolt. The idea was just to stop him from running because he's been running the whole game, but he gets the sack out, and when they get the sack, they're going to start to play really aggressive, right? Because essentially, we can't kill them. I can't really kill the warrior 100 to 0, but then they can play pretty aggressive on us because the H-Pal is the one taking the damage and is out of range. The Shattering comes out here. Um, I throw the spear down and kind of tell my mage to kite. I'm still saying in D stands until then, I go B here, right? Because we get the Hodge. And I'm looking for the fear off. I get the fear off because my mage couldn't get the poly. So that's a big thing to do if you're playing a setup comp. Ask who's got what. I usually ask if my mage can poly before I fear. Just because fear is instant and poly is a cast. So realistically, like if I don't communicate that, I could fear the second he polys, even if he can get the free poly. Um, the Druid is like lining here, and here's probably where my first mistake is. I probably should have just swapped immediately into the Warrior. I'm chasing the Druid here, but I'm not really getting much pressure as in bear form. I think swapping the Warrior would pull the Druid out again, which could leave them more like have potential for them to die. Our Mage can't really push in too far, just because generally like it's not super high value. So the Mage can bust on the Warrior, but I'm not even there connecting on the Warrior. So we could have probably forced parry here pretty easily. I intervene my mage here because he gets stunned, and I go D-stance, ignore pain, soak it up. If you see, like I don't take too much damage doing that. They do get to apply all their bleeds on me though. So, as you can see, this is a pretty hard comp to kill. Like, ferals are pretty tanky if they're off healing and repositioning well. You can kind of really only kill them in stuns. So we get the stun down here, but it's a bit of a shit stun. I don't have too much damage either. I don't have Colossal Smash. We get the Hodge on the Paladin though, which is good, and this might be covered with the Fear. I threw the Warbanner down kind of more aggressively, and it does stay the whole time until the dart ends, but they're not really going to CC me anyway. So here I do swap to the Warrior, and the Warrior does start to take kind of a little bit of damage, but he's still pretty safe, I guess. This is the part of the game that you don't want to be in, right? You don't know who to hit because nothing's dying, and you're just hitting random targets because you just aren't sure, right? So I'm still hitting the warrior here. He's kind of low. I put him into the stun. I don't know. I think he human that. Um, yeah, you just human the stun, which is fine. We get the human, but if I did that earlier, we might have been able to get him way earlier. There's the Hodge. I'm asking, do we need to get the fear? But I think generally the fear is probably pretty good here. Uh, we get the full fear there, and I think the Holy Paladin's running some conduit where fears last shorter. By the way, that's why they look so short comparatively. I leap over here and like think about what I just did, right? This is the highlight point, right? So this is when I get aggressive. I get disarmed. I trinket the disarm to stay aggressive, right? Because I just feared him. I wanted to get pressure out, but I didn't really think about this until the next game, but it does leave me in a really awkward position because I can't really peel for anyone. I get some nice crits here. I'm get some fatty damage. Um, I get stunned here, and it's kind of okay for now. We hit the warrior a bit. It feels like we have pretty good pressure. Um, I get the spear down on both, right? And we get feared. And I keep using my Berserker Rage on the Disorienting Shout by the Druid, which means a lot of the times will get full feared, which is something I really got to get in the habit of not doing. It's just such an instinct when you get incapped to press Berserker Rage. So, my Paladin's kind of stuck in an awkward position. I think he was going out for the Hodge. I intervene my Mage here, so I have a full row of bleeds on me and sharpen, right? Keep this in mind. Keep this in mind. We get the poly here. I stun the druid, but I can't really connect to the druid without lining everyone. We eventually get onto the druid, but we don't get much going. Um, we get onto the druid now, and I'm trying to get some pressure, right? But look at my HP. Look what my stance is, right? And I didn't even realize that they got so many bleeds on me. My paladin has a bop and sack and bubble. So what I should have done here is I should have said bubble me or trinket sack or bubble sack. Sorry, bubble sack um or it's bop, right? Because the amount of dots I have, the HP I'm on, exactly 70%. We'll go through this slowly. We are getting chunked, right? The first ferocious bite happens, which drops my maximum HP, which is why 43% of my HP right now is like 16k, right? I'm at 10k. I get the save by the light, which is that shield there, and my paladin gets full hodged. So I didn't really call. I couldn't tell because this has only been in this Stormbolt, right? This is in one Stormbolt. If I got out of this Stormbolt, I would 100% live. I could rally file parry. But as we get closer, we can see that the wall breaker hits me, right? I'm at execute range now, or condemn range rather, right? The condemns come through, and I die to a 9k condemn with a ferocious bite lining up. So it was a really, really well played spot by them. I was not paying attention to it, and it's something you have to take in mind. If you trinket stupidly, you can't go B stance and play that aggressive. I was playing way too aggressive there. I should have kind of seen that they could possibly swap onto me, and I kind of paid the price for it. So we're gonna watch another game where something similar happens, right? So cool. There it is against RM Pal, right? Against RM Pal, this is kind of an interesting matchup. I think we're very heavily favored. So they did a really, really good outplay. They kind of outplayed us the entire game on this match, and the next game we sort of caught up and started to play a lot better. But you know, we get in combat. The mage gets in combat. I'm sort of just chilling here because I know this is what I have to do. My guy gets full kidneyed, so I trinket intervene. I probably could have held my trinket. The main reason is my mage got the double DB on the paladin and the mage, right? So when I intervene here, it's not even like they're connecting yet. While this go is completely negated by that intervene, right? Um, it does leave us in a bit of trouble, right? Because I just used my trinket. So someone's going to have to pay the price for that. We didn't get enough cooldowns to really trade that efficiently, right? Like we probably shouldn't have been trading my trinket for Shadow Blades. I don't think that's necessarily a good trade. We get full stunned here, and my paladin does an insane bop. He bops the bomb, sorry, and I just jump out of it. The bop gets stolen, which is fine. There's combust. I kind of line the mage a little bit and try and pull him around the corner. I'm on top of my Holy Paladin, so if the meteor happens, he can't really get meteored. And I get the parry out, I get the file out, I get ignore pain out. We should be completely okay in this go. It's kind of negated now. The rogue goes for the vanish, so I hit the mage, which is just generally pretty good practice. But these roots are sitting, and he doesn't have freedom or anything for me until the end, for until 6 seconds in or so. We actually get caught there, which is pretty crazy. Um, and the rogue's on top of me. I get stunned, and you know what's about to happen. There's this go that happens. We get disoriented. So this paladin did a really crazy play. Like that run through with disorient on this map is so potent. So if you're a holy paladin, think about that. And my paladin is at 28%. He has trinket, but he held his trinket. So it's probably gonna have to trade bubble, which happens. There's a bubble, right? 18%. You don't want to risk it. We stun the rogue here, and we get some decent pressure on the rogue. I get a fear onto the paladin, which is full, right? And I can connect to the rogue now. I break the poly, which is unfortunate. I think I broke the poly there with the spear. It's not a big deal though because he dueled, so we wouldn't have really been able to hit him the whole time anyway. Um, and I get hodged here, which is really awkward because now I can't peel anything because my HP just went down, right? I leap and I get the intervene off, and I slow this guy, stun him, and we go aggressive here, right? So we get bubble from that, um, and evasion. So next go, we've got a really good setup, and he should die, right? We don't have bubble or trinket, right? So we are in trouble, but I blaze some here, so I can't really get swapped on. And I'm looking for, a potential go here. I get kidneyed here, right? My HP is still in a little bit of trouble. There's combust, right? What's it called? Intervene it, and then I rally on top of that. And so here it's really awkward because they've both got bops, so I can't really do anything to help anyone. I stun this rogue, and that's a mistake, right? That's the mistake you see right there. I thought trinketing that DB and spearing the rogue would mean that we can get a kill on something. Realistically, the paladin has trinket. The paladin still has some buttons left. He doesn't have any bops left. He still has sack. The sub rogue still has his trinket. He doesn't have evasion or anything else, but we don't have a setup here. So me trinketing that offensively would have been fine if we had cross CC. But because we didn't have cross CC, it's a 3-second DB. There's not even value in it. I get full polyed here, which would have been that. Even that would have been better to trinket, right? We get the dispel though, um, and we're trying to connect to this rogue here, and we get rooted. I use my gnome racial. I leap a bit too far, and then you can probably see what's about to happen. Look where the holy paladin is. Look where me and the mage are, and this is what I think is really insane by them. They did this swap very soon, really well. The rogue got a re. Sometimes there's not much you can do about that. He gets a kidney shot on me, and you can see what's about to happen. In RMP, when you are kidney shot and the rogue is moving away from you and the mage isn't looking at you, you are about to get, yeah, you're about to be in a lot of trouble, right? So the kidney shot alone, my paladin predicts this and does pretty well, right? We got a bit of lag there, but this disorient for like a second means I can't even get there and I get hodged right out, right? There's nothing I can do to get out of this now. Had I had banner or anything else for this go, we would have been fine. But I've wasted so much random stuff offensively that now I got no defensive toolkit to help out. The mage tries to get something, he tries to stop someone, but yeah, unfortunately, our paladin is pretty much dead. They've got combustion, I think. They don't even have combustion. It's just the rogue's got shadow blades, and the mage has some damage lined up, and our paladin falls over. I had fear, right? I could have literally feared both, and at least gotten a trinket, stunned the rogue, and disarmed. Had I not wasted my trinket on the DB, right? If I just trinketed the Hodge, we would be fine instead. So yeah, really important lesson on just maintaining your cooldowns, thinking smart about some of this stuff, and just being smart generally about it all. Okay, so we finish that game there, and we look at let me see. I think I want to go over the kitty cleave mirror because this is probably a really how long is this game though? It's quite long. I might start it kind of halfway through. So for context, essentially the same thing from the last game happened, but we're hitting the warrior way more. We're looking at the warrior way more. We have a lot of their cooldowns. I get the slow on the paladin. I'm hitting the warrior again, and essentially I just I'm hitting the feral. I want to go feral too, but I'm trying to go whoever I can hit really. I get this intervene here and I parry it. So a big thing to do if you intervene and parry the majority of the damage I think that would hit you, the melee attacks, you parry, right? So if you see, I'm actually parrying all these hits, which is really, really good, right? It's super efficient. Means my paladin doesn't have to pop like a whole bunch of cooldowns, and to be honest, we don't have many cooldowns left. So this isn't looking too good for us. We get a bit of a setup here on the paladin with that Hodge, right? The feral druid gets intervened. I get sharpened on both. I'm doing semi decent damage here. Their warrior's pumping as well. He's got condemn. He's got that huge execute. I spear both here. And I get the sweeping out, and yeah, I don't know. It's not looking too good for us right now. I intervene my mage as well in this, and we get the sack, right? So we got trinket sack, which is pretty good. It's a pretty good outcome from that go. But we don't have trinket, we don't have bubble, we don't have human on my mage. I have no real peels apart from fear soon. They get another setup on us here. I slow both, right? And I'm just trying to peel as much as I can. I get disarmed here and feared, and I'm spamming Berserker Rage to try and get out of this. And I rally, right? Big thing to rally so my mage doesn't have to use his court. Um, really, really important. We stun the feral here, and we get a bit of a setup, right? And we're pumping away at these guys. I get stunned for 3 seconds. Not too big a deal. We get the full poly there, and I'm rooted. They're peeling insanely well. So I swap to the warrior because I can't really reach the druid right now. And there's a disorient on all of us, right? And our mage is quartered and has to block, right? He has to block that. He's in way too much trouble. I get the spear down here, and I do a big go here, but I get disarmed, right? Again, not a huge deal because he's peeling so much. So we are pumping away as usual. I'm kind of chasing a bit too much, so I kind of realize that and swap. I intervene my mage here straight away to get to the target, and the feral's still in a pretty good position for us to kill. There's dampen setting in now, I think, so we'll probably be at some level of dampening, which favors them a lot because they're a cleave. Cleaves tend to do better in dampening against caster melee. Generally, just because the value of CC, I don't know, it changes a bit. You have Mortal Strike, you have a lot of bleed damage. The overall damage from this team is higher than us in terms of burst and when they connect. So I leap and I get feared on it, so I have to trinket fear, right? Because I just leaped over there. I don't want to go to Africa. I intervene my mage, and this is looking good for us, right? It always looks pretty good, but then it ends up never happening against this team in particular, not going the way we'd like it to go. I spear down here on the feral, and the feral pops his wall here. I think it's just the auto frenzied, so he gets topped from that. I get disarmed there, which isn't too bad because it wasn't really on a go necessarily. So hopefully we won't have disarm for the next go. So now the feral's looking pretty juice. I disarm the warrior here with saying that the mage is pretty much dead here. We're screaming, okay, we lose, we lose, we lose. Use everything, get away. I don't really have too much. I'm hitting the paladin a bit just because yeah, I don't know. He's sacked and is in the middle of the map. It makes sense, but we decide to swap back to the feral here. We get some pretty good damage out. I get a mortal strike proc there, and the intervene comes out in the feral druid. And it's not looking too bad. We have to bubble it. And my H-Pal, if you look closely at his mana, is literally empty. His mana bar is gone. If you look at the other Howley Paladin, his mana bar is 29.6k, right? So the only thing they have to do to win this is to make the game go for another minute, really. And then we're out of all our stuff. Somehow, though, we missed the spear here, which is very, very tilting. Very unfortunate, right? Get disarmed here. I disarm the warrior, so he can't connect. We get disoriented. It's very, very annoying, and I go for the stun. And this is something I did bad. I was kind of annoyed that I couldn't go and fear this guy because I got hit with so much micro CC. So I stunned him first, and then I feared off
which is super bad. If I had the stun for this Feral Druid right now before that intervene happened, we'd be in a much better spot. But my mage is at 50%. He's got no court, no trinket, no block. My paladin has no trinket, no mana, no human, no bubble, two freedoms, a sack, no wings, and no pops. So you can think about what we're feeling right now. And we get a little bit of pressure on this Feral Druid, and we're feeling okay. This might go well. We have some pressure here. That's why I'm pushing in, right? I don't want them to reset and just off heal. But it's pretty unfortunate. What we do have though is we get the sack off, right? We get the sack off here. It's feeling a bit dire, right? The poly comes out. The full poly comes out on our what's it called, on the Holy Paladin. I trinket this stun, right? There's the in cap, and I have stun from. I throw the stun out. I leap over, and he gets intervened, and I get disarmed. And then there's Kyrian Divine Toll, and it's still kind of low though. And the biggest thing there, my mage locked the Holy Paladin. So when that rally fell, I think there was a rally up there. Yep, that when that rally fell, there was nothing to top him. So the Feral Druid literally went from 100 to 0 because that rally fell, and the heal that the Paladin needed to do dropped. But overall, it was an insanely hard game for us. They played so well, and I don't know. Even looking back at this, I don't know what the right play is. I think perhaps maybe I got to focus more on um, probably going the paladin, trying to put goes onto the paladin. But overall, I feel like kitties, like ferals in general, they're really hard to kill and they're very, very hard to peel, right? So for that game, though, we did get 16 points, which brings us to 28.97. So we're happy with that push. That was the last game. And it kind of concludes this video. If you have your own VOD submissions, check the Discord below, right? Hope you enjoyed this content. This is the highest CR stuff. A lot of the times we're focusing on VODs from, 1.2 to 2.1k CR. But if you're looking at the mindset when you're playing at a higher rating and how kind of punishing it is, right? Trinketing your disarm in a 2k game, you normally don't lose out of nothing. Trinket and disarm at 3k, these guys swap you in a second. They see the mistake you make and they take advantage of it. Same thing in that RM Power game, right? We made a mistake and we lost for it. And I think similar thing that we saw there too, right? At the end, like the Feral had a choice there whether he should push in or leave. I think the decision there was probably like run because if my mage has counterspell, the Holy Paladin can get kicked. And even just the chance that that can happen is enough that you probably have to reconsider whether you want to stay in. But overall, they're making a pretty cool non-meta comp work, so good on them. Um, Appreciate all the support, guys. Thanks for the 1,000 subs. Hopefully, we have more and more content that you guys enjoy. This will come out on the weekend, and you know, we will look deeper into that. I think we will have more guides and stuff coming out on the Sunday and during the week. So, guys, take it easy. Hope you have a good one. Peace out.